and I'm working as a cloud engineer in Rishabh Software. So today we'll discuss about the new features and the services introduced by AWS in recent reInvent, right? So as we know that there is one shared responsibility model, right? So that has been shared by the AWS as well as the customers or AWS, right? So as we know that AWS is taking care of the security of the infrastructure, but we have to taking care about the inside the data inside the cloud or resources we are provisioning inside the cloud, right? So AWS has many services introduced for helping us to secure our data inside the cloud, right? So let us go through quickly. So first service they have introduced in this reinvent is the Amazon verified permission. So as you know that while developing our custom applications, we are adding some features like authorize and things, right, in our code only. But recently they have introduced this service as a Amazon verified permissions, so in which we can decouple our authorization logic from our applications and keep that on AWS. Okay, so there is a feature provided by this one. So what can we do with this one? So first thing is it will reduce the burden of our developers to keep our logic on application itself, so, right? So indirectly it is reducing the latency, right? Because as we know that AWS has the more computation power, so everything related to authorization will be shipped, that load will be shifted to the infrastructure of the AWS, right? So that is the good thing about this one. So one more thing is we can whatever the it is using one policy called SEDAR policies. So whatever the authorization logic we want to write will be in the SEDAR policy logic, SEDAR language, right? So that thing we can do. One more thing is we can also whatever the policy we are writing, we can check the policy that whether it is working or not. Okay, because in production environment we will not check it. So before it will check in there only, and so we'll check whether it is working properly or not, and then after we can connect it with our customer application. There is the Amazon verified permissions. Next service that is introduced by AWS is the Amazon security lake. So as we know that whenever we are digging into some security related problems, right, so we have to means go through many services, right? So that is why they have introduced this service, like all the security related data will be at one place only. Okay, and then after we can normalize it, we can optimize the data, and we can simply analyze this data using many tools available on AWS or any third party tool, right? So that is the security lake. Then next is config proactive compliance. So as we know that config is providing us the compliance related thing, like if we want to find some data related to some compliance, like if some S3 bucket has the public access and we have to search it, so we are simply creating the rules and we can find the data related to that rule, right? So this is the proactive compliance. Like we do not want to first of all provision the infrastructure and then after search that whether it is related to compliance or not. We'll check before provisioning it, like in CI/CD pipeline or anything, right? So it is using the cloud formation hooks for it, right? So before provisioning the infrastructure, while provisioning the infrastructure, it will tell us that this thing is not related to the compliance, so it will not provision that particular thing. So this is the AWS config proactive compliance. Then we are having the AWS control tower, that is the comprehensive control management, right? So it is applying the managed preventive, detective, and proactive controls to accounts, organization. Yes.
Compliance if it is not matching. With CI/CD pipeline also, if we are kind of provisioning
Yeah.
and it is getting delivered, before that itself it will get catched.
Sorry.
If there is some configuration written
Hmm.
inside the CI/CD pipeline in code pipeline section, and in which I am using something non-compliant.
Hmm.
Okay. So at the time of provisioning itself, or at the time of running the pipeline itself, it will get cached, or it will when
Before provisioning, suppose that resource.
writing a Terraform script,
Yeah.
and I'm creating the entire infra by using that script. Can it happen that before, as soon as the script enters the AWS, it will say that this is not compliant? Will it be possible in that thing?
So I think when we are applying the Terraform script, first of all, it is scan all the things, right? Okay. Then it will. I think first of all we are doing the Terraform plan, and so it will go there. So at that time only it will trigger that this is not related to your compliance, and we will be alert.
Let's say if I'm
Like let me suppose we have a compliance related to some S3 bucket should not be a public access, right? Suppose this is our compliance policy, any S3 bucket do not have the public access. So while provisioning it, suppose we have given the public access to it, so that thing will be alerted to us that this is not related to your compliance policy.
cloud formation and this combination from Python script can also do this, right? So over here, what is like, I'm just because this public access of S3 suppose at the time if somebody has given it by mistake, can I make my own compliances such that if this is a S3 private access, whether cloud formation can access it or not, or I can make my own compliances or it is
You can, there are some predefined rules are available. You can also create your own custom rules. So you can use the lambda functions to create the rules. Okay, I hope it is clear. Then comprehensive control management. So over here we are having, they have introduced something like we can control our accounts through some predefined things, like some preemptive, detective, and three kinds of control they have, right? So one is the preemptive. Preventive is the they are using the security. We can say SCP, service control policies, for the preventive things. So we can apply service control policies. Then detective, or over here we can use the AWS config, right? And for proactive, we can have, I forgot that, right? So three kinds of thing we can use. So over here they have given lots of predefined things, so that can be introduced to our accounts. So suppose we want to give some rules to our account, like related to S3 bucket, right? So like related to services, related to some suppose we want to introduce some PCI compliant, some frameworks we want to introduce to our accounts, right? So this account should be related to this PCI compliance related, or some framework related, right? So that thing we can predefine before going to create our new accounts. So that is why it will reduce the time to wait the AWS services from 1 to weeks to minutes. So before going to create the accounts, we can have all the things available with us related to compliances, right? So as you can see that these are the different controls available with, like for API gateway there are some services available. So what can we do with the API gateway in our account? So these are the some predefined things already available with control tower. So as you, I think you are aware about that, control tower is related to AWS organization, right? So there is